Mic test, 1 2 1 2. Mic test, hello. Hello, and welcome to VD Racing League. Let me quickly pull up my. Well, let me pull it up on my end. Right. Welcome to VD Racing League 3-year anniversary racing week. F125 race around Spain. Hello, Harry.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, and you? How are you?
Yeah, not bad. Sorry for my fairly poor punctuality, because I'm guessing
It's 5 red lights, and away we go. Off they go. Seems like Kevin's had a good start. He's kept the lead. Never mind, I stand corrected. Gone under third immediately on the first lap. Remus takes the lead as he goes down into turn 1. Will anybody try to make a move here? No, they won't. Remus keeps a very nice lead up front, with Kevin following by the Red Bull behind in third.
Yeah, it's been a fairly good start for Remus in the McLaren and the Ferrari, just like they did yesterday in Spain. Struggled with traction off the start line and worked their way backwards a bit, as there's some big contact happening back there. I think that was actually someone driving into a bollard, but that is all to be speculation.
Simple little 5-lap race. Remus only keeping a 5-10 gap though between him and Kevin. I thought it'd be a little bit bigger from the amazing start he'd gotten, but I can't really see Kevin closing too much, considering it's just been consistently 5-10s the entire lap.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fairly high speed race, so let's say, at least as you can see, Kev having a bit of pressure put on by Stad, as now Kevin trying to gain on Remus into turn 1 with the McLaren. Just probably going to be deploying some battery to hang on.
Mark Spoon. Knight in the pits on after lap 1.
Yeah, I don't know what the strategy is today. Is it like a 5-stop for him? Because there's only 5 laps.
A compound every single lap?
Martin, it currently says stream is starting soon. So we're commentating to a starting soon screen.
Hey, starting soon screen. Oh, okay, well now we can't see it.
Yeah, I think he's now fixing that.
Technical difficulties. Right, Remus still in the lead, building his gap by a little bit. Remus and Kevin are pretty much gone. They build a gap up from the third on.
I'm just quickly getting it all up on my phone. But yeah, we are actually now showing the race, so sorry for those who have actually just had a blind commentary of the first few laps, but now Kevin, fastest lap of race, that's quickly taken away as Ruben now holds it, but the Ferrari gaining on Remus. Is he close enough? The McLaren defends to the inside, and Kevin now has to try and recuperate and think of another way to get around that McLaren in this 5-lap race.
So tell me, I haven't really commentated here in a while. So tell me, who's your top 2 here?
So I kind of have to be a bit biased because the last time I commentated, well, properly was a year ago, and then I'd done it on Monday and Tuesday for the first time in a year now. And I even said that in the interview with Kevin yesterday. It's been a year since I last interviewed him. Then post-race he joked going, that was the last time I was a champion here. So, yeah, last time I actually commentated here, Kevin was champion. So I kind of have to say Kevin's top 2. Probably with Ruben, who's actually won both of the races so far this week. He won in Zandvoort in fairly confusing conditions. It kept going dry to wet. And then yesterday he went and basically cruised to the line and won for about 5 seconds, didn't really have any challenge at all. So I want to say they're kind of the top 2, but it's really dependent on what happens on race day. As there's Ruben trying to get a switch back on Stad as they work up through the hill up towards turn 4. We now go. Ruben just losing time, taking a bit of a wider line, trying to get some cooler air onto the tyres, as he is really trying to push Stad around the circuit so he can try and get onto the podium here in this 5-lapper.
I'm not sure if you see it, but Dirty Air is really strong in this year's game.
Yeah, it's quite a big factor. Last year they said they really improved it, but it hardly made a difference. Now you can actually see that the drivers struggle to get within half a second. Here, just like I said yesterday, you need to be about 8/10 a lap quicker to have a proper shot at an overtake. And in one of the DRS zones, you need to be within half a second. So that just shows how difficult it is going to be to overtake. But as I say that, Kevin, within 4 attempts, Andy looks like he's probably the quickest man on the track at the moment. So, could he do it? As he's only gone 800 slower than his previous best.
He's going for the move down to turn 1.
Yeah, really easy move, but Remus.
McLaren sticks the nose up in the middle. Oh, wow. That was close to almost contact.
Yeah, almost went wrong there, as there's a yellow flag on track for Night Tonight.
Who's it?
Who
Williams
probably going to go to
it.
bed after this. But no, it wasn't Night Night. It was Battle, my bad. But Night Night having the race to forget, as he is half a minute still off that Williams. They're kind of just doing practice more than anything for the actual race here at Spain on Friday.
Oh, you really gotta put your foot in there.
For what? I'm so lost. I've got such a dry throat today, so I'm constantly drinking. But yeah, Remus now having a bit of a wobble as Kevin just started to pull away more than anything.
This is the biggest gap we've seen in the top 2.
Yeah, it's really looking dominant as Kevin does take the lead line in the first 5 lapper. I don't actually know how many we've got today. I'd assume it's about 5 or 6 to give you guys something to actually watch instead of 2 laps of the 5 lapper being behind the streamer starting soon screen. And yeah. Anyways, there's the good. It was an okay race more than anything for the good. He came 11th, missed out on top 10, but from where he started, can't really blame him. He really struggled yesterday as well, so it's kind of trying to build up confidence once again. As yeah, it's still Williams coming round in 12th. I'd actually like to have some confirmation on how many races we've got. So, standings for Friday. Who's that? Tias is leading the championship by, I believe that says 51 points over Ruben, which is a massive statement to make. But unfortunately, Tias isn't racing today, as far as I'm aware. So, yeah, out of it, it's currently Kevin and Ruben who are the closest rivals on that track. Point system, 50 points for first, 40 for second. Yeah, thanks for all this info. It's quite similar to NASCAR scoring in a way, because it goes all the way down to last.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I should know, I'm an American.
Yeah. I'm a Kiwi, so this is a bit different. But yeah, there's your first race. Kevin actually takes home the win with Remus second and Ruben third, who actually managed to gain the place due to Stad's 2-second penalty. Actually, no, he still beat Stad by 2 tenths, even though he got that penalty. I was going to say due to the penalty because I didn't see the move actually happen. But Zebo comes home 5th with Toro in 6th. A great race from him starting 8th. But the 007 really treating it like he is James Bond, as he worked his way up 6 places in that 5-lapper. An amazing drive, with Vasta being in 8th, Cav in 9th, and Missio in 10th. So that was a good starter. What's your thoughts on it, first sprint?
That was a pretty good race. Definitely very, very active in the first opening laps that I could not see.
Yeah, they missed all the fun, then it kind of just, yeah. But it's all been fixed, because I'm watching the stream and, yeah.
Yeah, I have it pulled up as well on my second monitor. It's most definitely fixed now, but one thing I will like to say is don't forget to like the streams, to follow us on every platform. Discord, YouTube, Instagram, X, TikTok. Make sure to follow us on all those platforms.
Yeah, I can't lie, I keep forgetting to say that whenever there's a safety car, but I think it's kind of clear because there is a massive banner across the bottom. Basically,
there's also a really big QR code.
Yeah,
also a really big QR code.
To donate if you wish. please donate so we get pay.
Yeah, we've been stuck in Martin's basement for like years now.
Yeah, we've just been pawns in his game. Yeah. Anyways, it's Silverstone up next. Not the normal Silverstone you're used to seeing. Is it in reverse? So
Dun dun dun.
hopefully it's gonna be a great race. Maybe just because it's in reverse, who knows? We could see the Ferraris and the McLarens at the back.
I'm gonna win.
And
Watch.
Williams winning.
Oh shoot! Hold on. I just checked my phone and I just seen that Red Bull just got kicked out of. I mean, Christian Horner just got kicked out of Red Bull.
Yeah, I saw that.
I just checked my phone right now.
And now there's something going round with Horner in Mercedes uniform with Hamilton, and and Wolf in Mercedes uniform alongside Verstappen. And I couldn't help but laugh.
It just confused me, so I was like, you know what? I don't have the brain power to look at this right now. I'll read this later.
Yeah. But yeah, I've just sent a picture of it into the commentator chat for you to view later. But we are about to enter the second event of the evening. Hopefully, it's going to be even more interesting than the last, as
Evening.
F1 was only there about, what is it?
A week ago.
2-3 days ago. Yeah.
Oh,
And yeah, I've just realised you're like mid-afternoon, aren't you, in America?
Yeah,
No,
brother.
not
It's
necessarily
1
evening.
p.m. It's 1 p.m.
It's 6 p.m. So yeah, we'll just say off the
All right,
day.
2, 3, 4, 5. That's 5 red lights. And away we go off the line with the Red Bull. I can't pronounce that. I'm sorry. Gets a pretty good start off the line, followed by Stade, followed by Stade, followed by
Toro round, and absolute chaos. That's how you know this is in reverse, because no one knows how to drive, as there are actually a few grass spurts all over the cameras, because so many people have gone for trips off on their own little scenic adventures. There was someone driving down the pit lane. I think they've just invented pit lane starts for this game, as you briefly saw. But now Stad trying to push after Cav. Can the Ferrari move himself up into the lead? He was, fourth in Spain.
going through Corp's corner now.
A bit higher, as they go.
Wow!
That's what we want to see. As he now plummets, that's 4 places down.
Oh, contact.
Down the inside of Zebo. Zebo trying to fend off on the outside, but now he comes across Kevin and almost kills off Kevin in process, as he's too caught up fighting Remus over second, while Stad able to pull away. Kevin now just better top speed, both using battery up, as it's a little drag race into the reversal village, and that is Kevin up into third with Zebo
Very wide.
locking up. Yeah. It's already proven to be chaos, as there's Cab trying to get a switch back, but Ruben.
Hey, Ruben.
The Aston Martin trying to be a thorn in everyone's backside. The Stad fastest lap, obviously, because it's first lap.
Stad with the 1.2 second gap. Wow, there goes the 50 board.
Yeah, I don't think the drivers need to know where to brake. They're just so capable. They'll brake and just go flying off and invent a new layout of this circuit. As Ruben now getting DRS on Zebo. That's a really easy move for the Aston. Just so much better.
They should just replace Monaco with this.
Yeah, this would actually be enjoyable, unlike Monaco. And we are getting some true action of it today. We actually saw Xander Vort in reverse early this week, where Ruben won it. So Ruben obviously comfortable with the reversed layout, as Zebo just in DRS range of the Mercedes, as you can just see. It's a
Makes me want to get back into some competitive league racing.
Yeah, I hung up my boots. I'm not planning to return. Yeah. But 007 being a bit mischievous, as so was Toro, giving a little hold up for Missio. But now Vast going up into village we go. To the inside of the good, he backs
Whoa.
out, he couldn't get the foot in. What's that? That is Missio. Going a few years off the track.
Potato. He's alright.
Yeah, just gonna keep going. Doesn't matter. That's what racing's about. As Vast has actually...
Seems that Remus is starting to get comfortable though. He took those corners with some good confidence.
Yeah, I'm nowhere near as confident as that. But, yeah.
Never mind. Probably the dirty air probably will mess him up.
As you can actually see 3 wide, heading up into Chapel. Not Maggots, Chapel. As now we go through Beckett's as Ruben trying to find a way past Kevin. We have a great view from Remus, who is just sitting behind. Out of Maggots, we then go up towards the reversal cops, which I'm not going to bother trying to pronounce in reverse, because we attempted that on Monday. But yeah, as now Ruben, DRS and Kevin, as it's currently a Ferrari 1-2. Looks quite likely a Ferrari does take this event today.
Yep.
It's now Ruben just trying to take a tighter line, really trying to open up the exits of the corners as he starts to head up. The 007 really struggling with track limits. I believe that's the second set of 2 seconds he's got this race.
I would love to ask him later. Oh, okay, 6 seconds already.
I thought it was only 2, but hey ho.
Thank you, Martin, for that.
Yeah. Martin, we were actually trying to make him look decent, but now he's kind of proven over. As we were 2 seconds as well.
Oh gosh. It's like I think it was either 2023 or 22.
Now.
Oh wow. You know, oh, no, it's 007.
Yeah, that was just a mess. Kevin, you shouldn't have flagged that up for us. Because that's going to look even more humiliating.
Yeah.
As now you see Kevin trying to go to the outside through Woodcock.
Very loose though.
And now
very loose.
Yeah, very loose on the rear end. But round the outside of Luffield we go as we now enter Brooklands with Kevin ahead of his teammates. Their teammates for this Friday. And they are hoping that they can replicate a performance like this. As 007 says in chat, bro, EA needs to fix these track limits. Bro, why are you laughing at me?
I'm sorry, 007. It was too comedic. Kevin rounds the last corner, the first last corner one final time, as now it's a Ferrari 1-2 going to the final lap with a... Yeah. I don't think they have to worry about anybody else. Nobody can get a grip on this track.
Yeah, there's one driver they can definitely not worry about, and that's 007, who has, of course, gave up and started getting a bit emotional as we took the mick out of the 80 seconds and 3 laps. But now Stad, DRS on his teammate, heading up to Chapel Curve we go now. I sat there on Friday, it's a great view, but how good is it in reverse? As the good joins him with the penalty list. There's 5 drivers who's got at least 2 seconds on the bag. Of course, we aren't going to mention 007, who should actually be rebranded to
007 has 50% of the... He has 50% of the penalties that give it out this race.
Yeah, Stad. Now trying to chase Kevin. You saw him getting closer through Woodcott as Zebo joins that penalty list.
Oh, Ruben.
On the outside now, through Brooklands. Ruben.
He's been
peaks now on the exit. As 007 says 2 seconds are actually fine, but I got 3 time penalties in the same corner for like not knowing when to turn in. That is just unfortunate. As there's Remus.
My condolences, 007.
Remus can come home 3rd on track, but he's going to finish 4th, irrespective of that. As there's Ruben, he comes home 3rd.
In the final corner. Oh.
It's the 2nd race where Kevin has won.
Toro crosses over into P5, Zebo into P6, Kevin P7. The Aston Martin of Vast in P8. The good gonna come in P9. Misio P10. Battle P11, 9 P12. And well, we already know that the 007, he could have won, but he's coming last at the DNF.
Yeah, he may have won if everyone else got 8 seconds and he didn't, but hi ho.
I'm so sorry.
As Baton goes through Abbey to end the lap, he's 11th with Night Knight, probably wanting to cry himself to sleep for the night after that.
I think here, if you look at the Discord chat, you can see 007 a little upset about us laughing at him.
Yeah, he's also quite depressed in the chat in general. But yeah, that's just racing for you, really. But yeah, Kevin Van Dijk wins the second race in a row, with Stad sitting in second, Ruben third, Remus fourth, Toro in fifth, as Ruben, don't forget, 11th to third. But Zebo, he finishes sixth. Kevin seventh from pole. That's slightly demoralising for the Red Bull. That is honestly a very good summary of how that Red Bull car drives, as in general. But there is your championship standings. Kevin leads it by 20 points over Remus and Ruben and Stad, who are all tied for second. So, ladies and gents, we are going to have a great fight for second in this 5-lapper championship. As can I actually get how many 5-lappers we have? Because we can't see it. So, yeah. Oh, 6. Thank you for that, Kevin. No, not Kevin, Martin. As, yeah, we therefore have 4 left. Yeah, it's gonna be rather interesting. I think it's safe to assume Kevin's got championship. I think you need to start randomizing grid to spice it up, because Ferrari getting away a bit too easily. Yeah. As you can see, all drivers eager to go back racing for another reverse event in Austria this time. Yeah, we've got Austria, Netherlands, Japan, and then Belgium. So we've actually got a mid-season stint of reversed events. It's going to be interesting to see how they unravel. As someone is just spamming me on TikTok like mad while I'm trying to keep up with this chat. 4 tracks for me to get penalty, says 007. Indeed. Who knows? Maybe you'll survive for once. But, yeah. Hopefully Austria shouldn't be too bad. There's only 10 corners you can invalidate a lap on and get a penalty through, whereas Silverstone there's about 16. So, yeah, hopefully could recover and score some points. But I'm surprised 007 ain't in an Aston Martin. I think that's a bit of betrayal for you James Bond fans out there, if there are any of you watching. As we wait for this race to go underway. Currently the grid's completely empty, but you'll see in a moment that it is going to be full of about 13 drivers. 007 says 10 turns too much. What about 1 turn? As 007 starts the last again. Hence why you shouldn't be picking a Sauber in a realistic grid lobby. If it was random grid, yeah, go Nico Hülkenberg every race. But we line up a very good view of the final corner being downhill as we go underway. Already havoc across the line as Kevin already dropping down to second as Mercedes go 1-2 for a brief moment. Zebo pushes Kevin a bit wide as Vast.
It's a 1-3 for Mercedes right now.
Yeah, looking good for the Mercedes team, who haven't been able to hang on to their numerous front row starts, as
You
Kevin
know,
actually drops back as you see Stad going for a spin with Ruben, who are two of the contenders for second here, both out of the action on the first lap.
after the first corner as well, things like corner like 2 or 3, they got knocked out on.
Yeah, turn 3, they make contact and go round. As you can now see, it's Kevin trying to go back down the inside of Zebo, but Zebo sends a massive move,
Wow.
forces Kevin into the gravel trap. As there goes Remus, Remus up into P2. After, what we've missed is Missio going deep into that same slightly downhill and off-camber braking zone.
You know what else we're seeing? We're seeing 007 actually racing.
Yeah, he's actually doing well. He started last and currently in 6th. And for once, he doesn't have the most penalties. That goes to Bast, who actually picked up 2 for contact with the Williams just ahead of him on the inaugural lap. While Night Knight, currently in trouble.
Stopped. Look at Night Knight. He was stopped for a brief moment.
He was stopped, as I've actually just been sent an invite from someone I don't actually think there's a racing. Yeah, they're right. I don't know why they're inviting me out of schedule. I'm not compensating that. I'm busy.
Yeah, you
Kevin.
busy woman.
And Kevin now DRS on Toro, which just shows how poor Ferrari has gone today. As Remus actually goes deep in that third corner, and Zebo now leads, but Remus going to try and fight back. It's amazing to see how McLaren, without DRS, almost overtaking the Mercedes with DRS, which is just a sight to be seen, as there's Toro making the move on Cav. And now Cav trying to fight back on his teammate. To the inside he goes. Toro fastest lap of the race as Remus regains the lead, but Toro...
Whoa, that almost ended badly.
Yeah, it could have gone insanely wrong there for the Red Bull, as Ruben fastest lap and Missio also 2 seconds.
This is just the recreation. He pulled up the penalties again.
Yeah, for once, 007 doesn't actually have a penalty.
I don't think he even has a warning.
Yeah, as
Wow.
Night.
Night.
He's off in the same place. That is insane for him.
This reminds me of my team career mode save.
Yeah. Well, with McLaren's leading.
No, thing is, they signed Ayrton Senna for McLaren.
Oh.
As well as Mika Hakkinen for replace Verstappen. And they replaced Kimi Antonelli with Michael Schumacher in my team career save.
Yeah, Toro now getting DRS on Zebo, who is rather slow in the straight line, as we learned from Remus without DRS only a lap ago, but just unable to get past this right old DRS train.
Seems that Toro has gone for more downforce than anything else. He's quick on the corners. He almost caught him right there in that turn 2.
Yeah, you can just see how much more confidence he has under braking, able to rotate the car, and within a 10 on the exit of that 4th corner, as Night Knight has been disqualified. Well, it is safe to assume he has now gone nighty night.
Yeah.
As that
was at the wheel, man.
As that is a pun I wanted to say all day. It's so tempting. As you can see, Toro and Zebo, wheel to wheel. Toro locks up, goes
so did Kevin.
Kevin, probably the most experienced driver on this grid, or one of the most experienced, really struggling on the reversed Austrian circuit. That's how you know. He's won so many times the right way, he doesn't know how to do it the wrong way. As now Zebo, DRS, but Kevin, amazing exit in that Ferrari.
Is definitely a way to look at it.
Yeah. But now, Kevin, if he wants to win, he has to overtake Toro and Remus, who are known to be difficult to overtake if they want to be difficult to overtake, both up ahead of them, as Remus could mathematically go for a title if he wins this and Kevin doesn't overtake Toro. It's going to be 5 points between them, whilst Ruben only bagging 4 and Stad only bagging a singular point, as I'm tempted to tell my sister to shut up, as I can hear her.
Hey, I'll do it. Hey, be quiet!
But yeah, now Remus going through the penultimate corner. It's weird to call it the penultimate, but now Toro.
I think it's clear that 007 is going to win.
Yeah, 007. He's one driver of the day today for no penalties compared to
Absolutely.
his fairly hectic Silverstone GP as Remus wins in Austria. That's 2-1 still to Kevin, as Kevin comes home third. If I'm right, being the only
And driver of the day, 007, crosses in P6.
Yeah, James Bond-esque performance. However,
Should have gotten 7th place then, not 6.
Yeah, just unfortunate.
There's Misio in a lonely P12, no man's land.
Yeah, that's quite.
Congratulations, Remus, on the win.
But that is already half of your event done. For your sake, who do you think is going to win? Because we've seen 2 winners in the 3 events. And 2 of
007.
the contenders go off. Yeah, I actually think 007 could actually be on a serious note, I think Kevin's going to be able to keep his composure. Yeah, he had a fairly poor race out in Austria, but Zandvoort, I saw on Monday, he was really strong, especially in fairly treacherous conditions. But you can see the standings at the moment. Van Dijk leads by 10 points over Remus, as Toro is actually now tied with Ruben over third on 36 at piece, with Stad only 4 behind, with Ziba following 2 behind. It's safe to assume the others not really in for shots, however, as Ferrari dominating this, 36 points clear of McLaren, who are further 7, I think that is, clear of Red Bull, with Aston Martin only 11 behind. So it's looking rather competitive in the constructors' race for the title in this 5-lap event.
They're begging for a normal chat right now in the main chat. I shouldn't really laugh at that. I can't lap a reverse track on my own.
Yeah, 007 said it's the first time he's actually seen Kevin in front of him on track in a VDRL race. Usually he gets lapped by him.
Wow.
Yeah, that is a statement and a half.
Well, I was gonna say, he puts on back.
Oh, so
reverse
apparently, according to Martin, the winner gets a spanking. No, on a serious note, free VDRL setup for the winner. Let's be honest, most of these drivers actually have bought VDRL setup, so yeah. But at this rate, it's going to be Kevin, who, if I'm right, actually owns the setups. So I don't think he'll get a free one. So can we give him like a forfeit for winning, Martin?
Can I get it?
Yeah, or could we get him?
Yeah, can we get him? Remus really eager to get started as he's spamming the ready up button.
If Kevin or Ruben does it, it goes to P2.
Oh.
Oh, why not us?
I mean, I avidly play the game.
Oh, one thing for Stad Daisy. So he's not allowed him either. 007 said he should get it. What about Martin? You give it up to us to pick our favourite driver of the day to get it.
Mr. 007.
You shouldn't have exposed our plan, mate. I think it's rather clear how he does need some help. As it's Azerbaijan next, they've actually changed the calendar from Zambia.
It was supposed to, because they kept whining about the reverse track. It was literally a last-second change. Imagine this is how actual F1 works. I love you
so
too.
Rivas finally coming across with feelings for the Ferrari. Maybe they'll join forces next season. as apparently, as at the moment, they are fighting over this 5-lap championship.
Yep. Normally, we would never see this many races on a normal race day.
Yeah, I've seen worse. I've done 7 events in a day before. It ain't that bad, but yeah, 6 races. You guys are all blessed. The only
1,
reason that I
2,
don't need
3,
championships, guys,
4,
constantly
5.
laughing at
It's
me.
5 red lights. And away we go. Misio starting on pole this time, but I don't know if he's going to keep it as Remus gets a much better start than he does going on the inside of turn 1 as, wow, into the wall immediately into turn 1. With Remus getting a pretty decent start, pretty much out of the way of everybody, and is already just going to try and build a gap to hopefully have a good race. He's followed by Toro. You got Kevin, and in 4th place you got Cav. Zebo in 5th, and Misio from 1st to 7th in 2 corners.
Yeah, Kevin, on the other hand, 6th to 3rd in 1 corner. So that Ferrari on a mission. As there's Zebo trying to re-overtake Cav, as there's a yellow flag out on track for battle. Confirmation on Night. He has actually gone
what a move.
As there, great move by the good. Then giving Vast a good squeeze. As yeah, Night has actually called it quits for today. He's no longer racing.
Looking at the chat, we have word from 007 that he doesn't want to leave the championship because we can't let him concentrate because we keep laughing at him.
Yeah, so I think we need to start laughing at the championship leaders again. Knock them off their pedestal.
Ah, Remus, look at you. I highly doubt that these guys actually have the street pulled out so they can't concentrate.
Yeah.
Oh, there's an incident back there on the track. The McLaren of the good, he's gone. I can't actually tell where he went. He was just very slow.
It's no longer been a good race for him. As he drops to last.
He's went from the good to the bad.
Into the lead. As that is a nice move up into the first corner. Rather simple, as you can see. With a bit of audio in my headset.
Yeah, the
Ruben
audio.
Trying to overtake Zebo. But now Cav squeezing past Ruben. Someone
really squeezed into the wall.
Yeah, Ruben knew he can't be letting that kind of overtake happen. As he's overtaken Zebo.
Whoa.
Cav does a Lando Norris in Canada. No gap at all, and he still goes for it.
That reminded me of 2023 Las Vegas. Lando Norris' crash, so just riding the wall all the way to the runoff.
Now Remus, he could actually overtake Kevin if he wins and Kevin comes 3rd.
Yeah.
But does that happen?
Remus heading 310 kph just on that little piece of straight. Wow, I did not realize how fast he could go on there.
Yeah, Remus starting to get competitive.
Yeah, he's catching little by little, but he's reeling him in slowly though. He's caught pretty much a full 10th right now in just those 2 couple corners right there. He will be getting DRS on this entire straight, so he will more than likely be taking the lead right here.
Yeah, Remus now DRS on Toro. As, well, Kevin, fastest lap of the bunch. He goes absolute best across that lap. As now you can see Remus trying to find a way past Toro. But currently not able to do it, as Kevin now DRS on the McLaren, who has DRS on the Red Bull. Is there going to be a move? Remus to the inside of Toro, and that's surely the lead. As he gets it done, but Toro trying to pull out a switchback to the outside for turn 4 he goes, as it's another switchback up towards turn 5. Toro, however, not able to actually reboot an attempt to regain the lead here. So,
small update on 007, he's moved up to P8.
Yeah, just needs one more place, then he can be a true 007.
I don't know if he can catch Sade in 2 laps time. With a 2-second deficit.
If I'm right, Slade has actually got a 2-second penalty, I want to say.
Martin, are you going to pull up the penalties? Thank you.
Yeah, 2 seconds.
Yeah, 2 seconds.
Just need a 4-second now and we should be fine. That's Toro trying to find way past Remus still.
Wow.
And Remus hits the wall on the exit.
Remus stopped that wall. It looked a little tasty for a second.
Yeah, not as tasty as Will's mic on Monday. Absolutely eating it all race long.
I can't really do that with my mic.
Yeah, I've got noise cancelling, so I could try, but you won't hear it.
I can't,
And
yeah.
Toro up to lead as Kevin making a double overtake for Remus to suffer a bit more as he loses 2 into the first corner. Now Kevin, he can get DRS on Toro, who has a lock-up into that second corner. Pretty sure it will be an overtake for lead up here, as there's quite a lot of weaving.
Trying to rate DRS, but it doesn't seem like it's gonna work. Not DRS, slipstream.
Yeah, it would actually be legal if Kevin was out of 6/10, but because he was right up his rear end, if it was race day, he would most likely get reported for weaving.
Most likely.
As
Most definitely. He was going left and right.
Yeah, quite a few weaves happening. As actually I've seen something in the stewards pop up saying warnings and penalties. Oh no, it's just race bans and body bans for next race. So, well, Toro does actually have a race ban for this Friday, so he can kind of kill everyone he wants on. As Toro cutting the corner there to try and extend an advantage on Toro.
Didn't really work though.
An advantage on Toro, you know what I mean. As missing a 2-second penalty. He is right behind the good, about to make it the McLaren stay a bit worse.
The good 17 seconds. Oh, wow. He's.
Yeah, there
He's 17 seconds behind that.
You can see Kevin has actually ran out of the point. So, yeah.
And yet he still hit 330 kph.
Yeah. But you can see Toro has a bit more deployed to play around with. Even though it's only about double, it's going to all burn up in the space of a straight.
And that's a Red Bull spun around.
That's Cab. Of course, not Toro, as we've just watched him weave about a lap ago and be about 20 seconds ahead of his teammate. But 007, he actually only has to overtake Bast this lap to get 7th.
Yes, sir, he does.
Yeah. He isn't too far out, only 6/10, but it's final lap. There's going to be a desperate move coming into play. Otherwise, it'll be the second place in row if I'm right.
And he gets the penalty.
Well, never mind. He's back to his usual self.
Yeah.
Has run out. I'll be back in a moment.
As we can see now, the top 3 going through the very last actual corners before going on to the start-finish straight. It's Toro, followed by Kevin, followed by Remus. Ruben, not really in for contention here, but he's 8/10 behind. Anything could happen with all these guys being low on batteries, or I assume low on battery, and trying to just get as much as they can down the straight. And it's going to be Toro that finishes the Azerbaijan Grand Prix in first, followed by Kevin, Remus, Ruben. Said comes in 5th place with Zebo, most likely going to be coming in 6th, followed by Bass. Here we go. The 007 coming in a lonely 8th place. Cab coming in 9th. Misio 10th. Really good at 11th. And the Battle 12th. And that's your Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Good up to P10 now, getting a single point because of Misio's 2-second penalty. Great race that was, though. Wonderful, wonderful race.
I have returned. Just
Welcome
in
back,
good
Harry.
time. Yeah. Well, 007 says, tells them that I need a full-time seat in VDRL. Somehow I am only third reserve at Alpine. Look at Championship, I'm best of bottom 4 teams today.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, Martin, can we give him a permanent seat as a replacement of Ruben by chance? He has asked, and I think we shall give, as there's your current Drivers' Championship with Kevin extending his lead into the final 2 races. At the moment, if Ruben doesn't actually gain by 10 points next race, it's safe to assume that's his chances out of the window, with Remus and Toro being the only ones capable of fighting. As Ferrari, they just have to outscore Red Bull by 1 point in order to end it into the finale, as you only need 44 points. Actually, no, they just have to match them because fastest lap point is non-existent. So yeah, but McLaren only 4 points out from Red Bull, so that could very much change, as it is safe to assume Ferrari have got it in the bag.
I think 007 is going to win still. I'm very optimistic for him.
Yeah, he is proving that he shouldn't be the third reserve at Alpine.
On a serious note, he genuinely could become a full-time.
Yeah, it's not out the window, but this is where we push for an extra tier,
Yes.
because you have so many drivers who could easily be full-time in at least one of the tiers.
He said to put him in the Ferrari.
Yeah.
Right. Give me 1 second. I do need to go do something. I'll be right back.
So yeah, you've got me for the start of next race by the looks of it, unless Prince does come back at the start. As Night Knight's actually a spectator, Nikoson has actually joined for the fifth race of the day. However, currently the only team out of the ones out there who hasn't scored a point is Williams, so hopefully we will see that change in one of the final 2 events. Why Japan? Because we want to see some chaos in the first sector. Yeah. Japan is a fairly difficult track to pass. And thus, great racing, and it's raining, which makes it even more difficult. Praise the Lord. Thanks for the treacherous weather here in Japan. That will provide some very interesting racing on the first lap, as DRS is a thing of the past. Look how I am carrying Sauber. To be fair, you are the only Sauber. But, irrespective of that, he is putting in quite a good solo performance, somewhat matching the Mercedes in what they are doing. But yeah. As it is the light sequence here today. 5 red lights. They are now gone, and so will be the drivers, as you can see. McLaren starting on front row with Missio for the 2nd race in a row. Remus trying to go long way round on the Mercedes, as off goes the other Mercedes of Zebo, but Missio will lead with Battle spinning off on the exit of the first corner as we work our way back up through. VD Toro in 2nd. He's had a good start. Remus has actually dropped 2 places off the line, so it's not been the best. The Good has also had a fairly shocking event, so has Stad Daisy, who has now dropped behind the Aston Martin in 10th, as there's Toro getting close to the back of Missio, goes wide, so did Remus, and that's Van Dijk now into 3rd, as Nico-san overtakes Toro, and there goes Ruben on the outside of the Red Bull. If it was to finish how it is now, Toro is out of the contention for the finale, and Kevin, he just has to beat Remus by about 13 points in order to win overall. But 007, it's only been 1 lap, not even that, 2 sectors. More like a sector and a half, and already 4 seconds on his plate. As you can see the run up to 130R now, you can see Ruben getting rather close to Missio, as Nico-san trying to hang it on the inside of Toro, but chooses otherwise. He backs off, as round the outside goes Missio. Missio's gone off. Toro track limits. So does Missio, and Toro gets another one as Missio slammed off after rejoining into the path of Ruben. As there goes Stad up into 4th, into 8th, as there's Nico-san to the inside of Toro, racing at its finest. Down the inside you can see, I want to say that's Remus who's gone wide, and that lets Kevin lead here, with Ruben now squeezing himself up into 2nd place. This has already been a fairly messy event, as there's another yellow flag out on track for Missio, who seems like he has spun in that first corner, with 007 in pits with 7 seconds of time penalties in that first lap. So boy oh boy, what has happened there with the Sauber, who's begging for main drive, as Missio trying to rejoin the track now. He gets reset to track as Ruben tried to hang it round the outside of Remus to defend, and he manages to do so. Nico-san, he hasn't done any events so far. This is his first race of the evening, and currently sitting quite nicely in 4th place, just ahead of Toro, which at this moment will rule Toro out of the championship today. But now you can just see how close Toro is getting and how much battery he's burned out. But he hasn't burned out as much as Zebo, who's only got 2% to play with, which is more like asking to buy a bottle of vodka for 2p. Ruben, fastest lap of the race. We've seen that Aston Martin in wet conditions, both in Spain and Zandvoort. He aced it then. He is now chasing Kevin, just like he was doing so in Zandvoort on Monday. But there's Stad getting quite wobbly on the exit of the first few corners. Cav just trying to stick behind Ferrari, knowing he could probably overtake, as it is a fight between McLaren and Red Bull. 4 points in the favour of Red Bull here. Stad really pushing the track limits to try and catch Nico-san and work that Ferrari up into 5th. As things stand, Ferrari will win Constructors, and it will be between Kevin and Remus into the final event of the evening, as Toro 4 seconds will actually put him behind his own teammate, which will not be helping that Red Bull at all. As Ruben now trying to gain on Kevin. He's got half the battery pack left for the final 2 laps, as through 130R basically keeps his foot planted. The commitment from the Aston Martin as he now tries to go through the triangle chicane. You can just see how close he is to the back end of Kevin, as now heading up into turn 1. DRS to play around with. Toro fastest lap, but Stad Daisy quickly takes that away for Ferrari. Ruben only about half a second off Kevin, but do not rule out Remus, who is really nicely tucked behind. Yellow flag for the good, who has had a spin in that triangle chicane. That's unfortunate for the McLaren, as that actually grants both Williams a point, even though they entered this event both cars no point. So that's going to be really good for their constructors in this event. 007 changes it from 7 seconds to 9 seconds of penalties, as there's Ruben trying to get on the throttle a bit sooner than Kevin, almost getting a move done to promote himself into the lead here, as there's another yellow flag out for, I believe that is Battle. But there's Toro making a move on Remus. That's going to mean nothing, as Toro does have those 4 seconds of track limits penalties, CAV 2-second penalty, for multiple track limits warnings as well. So this has just been a rather ugly performance for Red Bull, both cars, with 6 penalties between them. As now Ruben going to get some DRS on Kevin. Kevin will need to defend, because as things stand, he is going to have about a 20-point advantage in championship. Ruben to the inside. The Aston Martin knows its final lap and the move is needed, and he gets the move done. But Kevin, you can just see from Remus trying to react as quickly as possible all over the back, but he's starting to struggle in that Ferrari. You can just see how much the Red Bull behind him, or Toro, is eager to get a move done to promote himself into second, but penalty will probably drop him to 6th, as 007, 11 seconds now, really his good old self, as Remus has gone to the gravel trap. That's a big mistake for the McLaren, as now Toro, trying to find a way past Kevin, looks to the inside and hairpin, makes a bit of contact, but Kevin just that slightly wider line, a bit more traction on the exit, just able to get a lot more top speed, heading up into the spoon curve now. As Ruben, he hasn't won a singular race so far, as Kevin, 2 seconds. Remus has to now try and gain about 2 tenths in this final sector in order to actually beat Kevin on track, as Ruben is going to head up out of 130 yard, just up ahead of Remus, into the triangle chicane, as Ruben is going to win the Japanese 5-lapper. Out of the 5 races, he's got 1 win. Kevin has 2. Toro and Remus have 1 each. But Ruben wins. Toro plummets to 6th, and Remus only half a second from Kevin. So Kevin able to come 2nd as a whole. But yeah, unfortunately, First Prince has had some other commitments he has to attend to. Therefore, he will not be with us for the remainder of this event. Therefore, you've got me. Hey ho. Fun, ain't it? 1 race, and I will be your commentator. But the championship, it's looking quite likely that Kevin does take it home. He said last time he won a title was when I was commentating. I interviewed him last time he won a title. And he is about to take another title today. Yes, it's not an actual championship, but it's a 5-lapper event. So let's give him it, shall we? As yeah. Kevin, 16 points ahead of Remus. Ruben, 28 behind, meaning Ruben unable to overtake Kevin in this final event. But Remus could, if he manages to outscore Kevin by 17 points. It's a tall order, but it's not out of the window at all. But you can see also a bit further back, Calvin Red Bull 1 point ahead of Vast. The 007 only further 3 back, and Nico Sun a further 6 back, with Toro and Ruben being split by point, and 12 points being between Ruben and Remus. So quite a lot of high stakes for this final event, as I believe it's going to be I don't remember what it was. That's really poor from me. As yeah, we have Spa to end it off. As for this, it's going to be a custom grid. Nope, never mind, random to spice it up. We've had a realistic grid all event long, but now we can actually see Kevin start last and Remus start pole. If that happens, big jeopardy for the Ferrari. As let's see who will take it all. With 1 race left. But yeah, almost wrapped up for today. You have 5 more laps of high-speed thrills and action here at Spa. You can see the grid. I believe that's Ruben, maybe on front row, with 007 around 8th on the grid. There's this Nico dude. Just going to arrival. Says 007. Well, I didn't know how realistic when I first joined. I wanted to go Ferrari, and now he goes around him. Yeah. 007, 4th on the grid. So that's going to be interesting to see whether or not he can go for gold in this final race. As Ruben lines up on pole with 2nd, it's got leader is starting ahead of Remus, so Remus has to do a lot of overtaking if he wants to win. Kevin's had a really poor start as he drops to 10th, 4 wide in turn 1 as 007 goes insanely wide, as Remus 7th and Kevin 10th. So it's been a good start for the man who wants to. Remus now up to 5th as Toro and Ruben went wheel to wheel through Radion de la Rouge, and that's Toro up into 1st. But there's Battle, who's had a big spin on the exit of the high-speed segment. As currently Kevin's 8th with Remus in 5th. As that McLaren has to pick off some places. He's going to try to the inside here on Zebo, who's actually clipped Missio. And that's now opened it up for the McLaren to try and even work his way up into 3rd. Stad has given his teammate the place, as there's Missio, who's had a big mistake, and that's to let Remus promote himself, as it's all gone wrong. There's Missio and Nico-san having a crash in Pouon after they've both gone wide, with Kevin and Stad now 5th and 6th. If Remus wants to win, he has to come first, as there's the good rejoining into the path of Missio. I did say we'd have some high-speed action, and I didn't think we'd have this much chaos, as Kevin now up to 4th. He is staying really nicely with Remus. In order for Kevin to win, he needs a top 5 if Remus wins. If Remus doesn't win and comes 2nd, Kevin just needs to be anywhere in the top 9, I want to say it is, as Toro fastest lap of the race, of course, first lap, so it's obviously going to be the absolute best, as he's currently the absolute best overall. Ruben now using some battery, heading down towards Radio de la Rouge. There you go. How planted is the Aston going to go? You can just see no lifting off the throttle, and now use a bit more battery on the exit to get as close as he can. DRS now wide open, and that's overtaking Toro and taking the lead in this final race. Is he going to go out with this championship 2 events in 2? If so, take a bow. As Toro now having to try and recuperate, think of a way he can get back past the Aston Martin in these final 3 laps or whatever, as the good has picked up a 3-second penalty for that crash with Missio when he rejoined and went straight into the side of the Mercedes, who is down in 11th. Battle, however, you can just tell he hasn't enjoyed today at all. 12 and 20 plus seconds off the closest car. And now Toro using a bit of battery through Stabilo, heading now up towards the bus stop chicane we go. Is Toro going to go for a lunge on Ruben? He's getting a lot closer as we go through the forest now, heading up to the bus stop into the final 2 corners of the lap. You can just see Toro pushing Ruben up through into them final 2 corners. Big snap of Toro, but it allows him to get a bit more throttle on at the exit. Constantine up. That's why Ruben's pulling away. As Remus fastest lap, Missio 2 seconds for track limit penalties. As now Toro heading out of the first corner, use a tiny bit of battery for literally like a second in order to now try and work his way up through the hill climb. Big snap there, almost lost the back end, could have been very risky. As now Toro heading up to Ruben, just too far back for now. As Toro, however, fastest, well, a personal best first sector, 6,000ths of a second quicker, shows that the pace is rather consistent here in this 5-lapper. But at the moment, as things stand, it will still be Kevin who wins. He's currently 4th, Remus in 3rd. Remus does need to make some overtakes, but Stad has dropped 2 seconds to Kevin, so chances Kevin doesn't lose that place is rather low. As Nico's son and 007 both getting penalties for multiple warnings, as they are dueling over 8th at this current moment. As now you can see Toro heading up into Stablo. He was harvesting all the way throughout the middle sector because it's so much slower speed, so much more downforce related. You can harvest a lot easier. And now Toro right up behind Ruben. Surely we are going to see a move, but you can just see right in the wing mirrors a massive McLaren who is eager to work his way up into the top 2 here. Toro now leaving first corner, a slight snap of oversteer to try and correct his line there. Now heading up into Radio de la Rouge. Missio 2 second penalty for corner cutting this time. That's 4 seconds for the Mercedes as Toro now DRS on Ruben. Can he get a move done on his championship rival? Or if I'm right, 3rd, as Ruben has actually gone wide in there. Toro trying to get away by, but Remus having to force Toro to go by, and Kevin followed through as well. Ruben 1st to 4th in the space of 2 corners. Just shows how wrong it's gone for Ruben, as Toro looks like he will be coming 3rd, as Remus could take the win here now if he can be within about 4 tenths entering that bus stop chicane. Stad Daisy 2 second time penalty for multiple warnings. However, he's 8 seconds clear of 0, so chances that does actually impact anything in these final results, nil. As now heading up through Stablo we go, Remus using a bit of battery to try and really ease up towards the back of the Red Bull. McLaren versus Red Bull for this championship. As things stand, it will be the McLaren. No, it will be the Red Bull who takes it. But if McLaren can grab a win, it will be them, because Toro's teammate has backed out for this event. As Remus now out of final corner, he is 5 tenths off. As the gap is dropping, trying to find as much time as he can. He's saving a bit of battery as Toro, massive snap. There's Remus, you can see how good of an exit he's getting. But they are going to try and play some DRS games on one another. And here comes Kevin. Kevin overtakes Toro, and he's probably going to try and find a way past Remus. In doing so, Toro and Kevin reel to reel. Kevin pushes Toro off, and Toro 2-second penalty for multiple warnings. Kevin, however, now trying to overtake Remus. Remus, no DRS. So there's Kevin up into second, but Ruben to the outside of the Ferrari. Kevin really going to give a squeeze on the Aston Martin, but there goes Remus. Remus trying to find a way back by, but unable to. Kevin pushes Ruben off, and that's Remus back up into third, as the man who wins the title is most likely winning this race today, as Kevin, as things stand, will be your winner despite being second on the road. Sorry, it's 2-second penalty, will demote him to in the final standings for this race. As now you can just see Kevin has to defend for the final few sectors, just to guarantee win in this final race. As Stad Daisy has actually gone for a brilliant move on Ruben. Battle 2-second time penalty. He's already 20-ish seconds off Missio, so that's not going to change a thing in this race. With Toro, he's got 2 seconds. He's going to be your win on track. However, you can just see Kevin 4 tenths behind the Red Bull. Remus could go for a lob if he wants to, but he's just going to be sensible. Toro snapping all over the place as Toro turns into Kevin. Remus going to get traction. Remus drag race to line, and Remus wins your final race. However, it's not going to be enough. He needed to outscore by 17 points. It's only 7 points, but it was a massive photo finish. Toro was basically alongside him over the line, so the top 3 on track split by, I want to say, a tenth of a second at most. That just shows how insanely tight that final race was. As boy oh boy, that was something. Just wow. As Remus unfortunately does fall second in this championship. Kevin just showing who is the boss. As Kevin, I did joke around with him yesterday about last time him winning the title was when I commentated. He's still won a title, no? You can't say he hasn't, because this is inferior title. It's a 5-lap championship. But Remus is your race winner for Belgium. But it was a tiny bit too late to mount that championship challenge, as you are about to get a view of the final standings. As there's your acclaims. Remus wins over Kevin, then Ruben, who comes third with 4th, Stag 5th, Zebo 6th, Nico 7th. As Kevin wins by 9 points over Remus, who's an extra 22 points clear of Ruben, who are 7 points ahead of Toro. Then it was Stad in 5th, Zebo 6th, Vast 7th, 007 8th, Nico Sun 9th, Good 10th, Missio 11th, and Battle in 12th. But yeah, let's have a look at constructors' standings, shall we? As Ferrari, absolute dominance, 63 points win, with McLaren coming home second, only 5 points ahead of Red Bull. As the 3 we will be, not commentating, interviewing today is Kevin, Remus, and Ruben for their top 3 in this 5-lapper championship. So we will see you over there in a moment. Hello, we are now in the interview area, as I would like to actually start with 3rd place in this championship. Ruben, first of all, congratulations on that. You weren't as successful as you have been previously this week, of course, only winning in Japan. But how was this event as a whole for you? Where do you think you'll be able to grow from that?
I mean, it was a funny event, just a little thing that some person just want me to be nerfed. Because, I mean, Kevin told us that it wasn't random, it was realistic. So I was in an Aston Martin, so it was normal to be in P10. So certain person wants me to be nerfed. That's a thing. But the other thing, I want to thank him because it was a little bit funny going from that low positions, going uphill, and then getting, I think, almost all the races except from Austria. I had podiums, and yeah, it was a shame I couldn't win more, but it was funny at some point.
I'm pretty sure it was something like 8th to 1st in Japan, which was a really big statement. But talk us a bit about how you felt through that final race, because you were fighting, I believe it was Toro, over 3rd in championship, and you went off in the chicane at the end of sector 1 and lost 3 places in doing so. What were your thoughts going through that race?
It wasn't. I wasn't really serious about that race, to be honest. I was just trying to have fun and enjoy the race. And then I missed my breakpoint as I was with outline, and I missed my breakpoint. And yeah, I tried to rejoin as safely as possible, but it was a shame to lose 3 positions. So I thought I could go up and yeah, I could, but another person pushed me off the track. That's just what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, well, congratulations on that 3rd place in this 5-lap championship. And we are going to move on to the next one. Remus, it's safe to say that your championship charge came a bit too late. Of course, 16 points in one event isn't easy, but you managed to win that with a drag race. What were your thoughts going on to that final lap in Spa?
Yeah, it was maybe one of my best lap ever in this league. And yeah, I have to say Toro helped me with Kevin to get me the win, and it was a fantastic race. I enjoyed it really much, and I like this format. I enjoy it a lot.
Yeah, that was a rather interesting race. I believe without Toro's penalty, he would have actually been about a 10th off you when it came to crossing the line. So it was insanely close between you, Kevin, and, well, Toro. But you needed Kevin to be 17 behind to win, but that unfortunately didn't come. Do you think there's anywhere you could improve on for this week?
Maybe in Japan I could have been close to the gap, because Kevin had 2 seconds, and I missed the P2 for just half a second.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations on your
Thank you.
P2. And let's now talk to the championship winner of this 5-lappers. Kevin, congratulations, first of all.
Thanks.
But you probably remember this conversation yesterday. We spoke about how it was a year ago since I last interviewed, and then you went, a year ago was the last time I won a title. You've won it today, so
Yeah, finally.
yeah, what's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I'm actually really happy that I finally won a championship. But no, to be serious, I enjoyed it a lot, the format. The only thing was maybe a little bit unfair is the grid, because it was unrealistic. So I started at the front, I think, 4 or 5 times. So yeah, that was a bit unfair. But I enjoyed the racing. It was really close. I think there was never a race where someone was like 5 seconds in front and won the race. So it was close. And yeah, and in the last lap we had a little incident, Ruben and me and Toro. But I just saw the replay, and I had an oversteer moment, and I touched Toro, and that's why he went right and got 3 seconds or 2 seconds. I don't know how much. So that was a bit unfortunate.
Yeah, well, that was probably one of the most dominant displays because I believe you won podium every race but Japan. And I believe almost all of them was the top two.
Yeah.
I think there was only one of them where it was third. But apart from
Yeah.
that, it was first or second. So that was an amazing display. I was going to ask where do you think you can improve, but I don't think you could really improve much. But do you think there is anywhere?
My starts definitely, because I think I started a few times P2, P3, and I dropped a few positions every time. So my starts.
Yeah. Well, again, congratulations.
Thanks.
But yeah, that's probably going to wrap it up. For those who have actually tuned in for the whole thing, make sure you subscribe to all our platforms. I believe it's TikTok, Instagram, and YouTube. And then also join our Discord server if you want to try and beat one of these brilliant drivers who I've just interviewed. And I'll see you tomorrow for more chaos.